A very warm welcome to you on the 18 days spiritual journey towards Krishna. Today is the first official day. Before we start with our session, uh, let's offer our prayers to our Guru. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Agyantimirandhasya Jnananjan Shalakya Chakshuru Amritamen Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. नमो ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So as you see, today will be the officially first day of our spiritual journey, and the title which we have discussed yesterday. Just a second, there are some technical problem in the YouTube live. It's. Am I clearly audible, Mataji, or is there a network issue? The voice is clearly audible, or there is problem?
Clear, Prabhuji, it is clear.
It is clear. That's great, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. See, just wanted to give you a disclaimer that if suppose the voice is not coming properly or there is a network issue, because we are dependent on the technology, sometimes the internet fluctuates, sometimes there are issues. Please ping me up, please advise so that I can correct it, or maybe switch to another network so that the connectivity is there. Maybe if it happens, it should not happen first of all. If it happens, it would be for some seconds only. So if you see, we will continue in our journey. As I have discussed yesterday, that this entire curriculum of 18 days of Bhagavad Gita is purely based on the curriculum which was shared by our Krishna to Brahma, and from this disciplining succession has come to us through our Prabhupada. So he is the one who is enlightening us through this knowledge. Before we start, let's offer our greetings, prayers, obeisances to Radha Krishna so that we understand the Bhagavad Gita into the right context. So as I said yesterday, have you taken the pen and paper? Any kind of books you have taken? If not, please do it, because we are going to cover some very important topics, and something which is really important, it's better to note it down so that you can refer it later on. Definitely we will share the PDFs of this entire slides, but sometimes it's very important to make the notes. And although I am doing the live on YouTube, but then also it is recommended that you participate the session through Zoom, because interaction doesn't happen in YouTube. Question answers doesn't happen in YouTube. If there are issues, YouTube will not help you out. In Zoom, we are interacting. So it's always recommendable to connect through Zoom. People normally have a excuse that they are busy, so they can take the session later on, and they will go through the YouTube videos and be connected so that there is no gap. But in actual, when we give this excuse to ourselves, we tend to give excuses only. This is how our dilution of the commitment happens. We have to be very committed. If we are committed, then only we are going to get benefit, or else we will say, oh, it's there on the YouTube, we will go through it, we will listen to it, and that particular moment doesn't come because we tend to postpone the things. So it's better not to postpone and be committed. So Let's see. Let's continue with the PowerPoint presentations. Bhagavad Gita is an epic scripture that has the answer to all of our problems. It was considered a spiritual dictionary by Mahatma Gandhi, and it's a book of inspiration for many leaders across the planet. So, as I said yesterday only, it has answers to all the problem in the universe. I'm not at all talking about you and me. In the universe, there is not such a problem where it doesn't have a solution. We should understand the answer and the question into the context. And what's the context? We will go through this 18 days journey in that. We have seen this slide yesterday also, but again, purposely I'm showing you this slide. Why only ISKCON? See, I have given an example like if you want to charge your mobile through a broken cable, it will never charge because the cable has been broken. There will be no data transfer happening. There will be no charging of the mobile happening. Similarly, if we don't follow the disciplic succession, when I say disciplic succession, that means disciple and spiritual master relation. If that is not right, if it is that broken, that means we are learning something which is impure, which is incorrect, which is polluted, contaminated. So when we are learning, we have to learn pure things, which is 100% perfect. So we have to follow the disciplic succession. That's why we always say Bhagavad Gita as it is. The title itself says as it is. That means the way Krishna has told to Brahma and Brahma told to Narad, and Narad has given this information through various spiritual masters, and then finally Prabhupada is giving that information to us. So let's see the relation here. If you see Mahabharat, there are 18 purvs in Mahabharat, 18 chapters in Bhagavad Gita, 18 chapters in Purana, and 18 chapters in Puranas.
Please mute your voice. Due to technical issues, Prabhuji has lost connection with us.
Hare Krishna, sorry, I got disconnected, I believe.
Yes, Prabhuji. Now we can see you audible also, Prabhuji.
Um, am I audible? I got disconnected.
Yes,
Yeah, let me share the screen again.
yes, yes, Prabhuji.
Is the screen visible, Mataji?
Yes, visible, Prabhuji.
Yeah. There is a network fluctuation actually going on in my Wi-Fi. That's why there is an issue. So I was discussing that there is a coincidence that there are 18 purvs in Mahabharata, 18 chapters in Bhagavad Gita, 18 Purans are there. The battle of Mahabharata was fought for 18 days, and in total there were 18 Akshani Sena who fought for this particular battle. Similarly, with this coincidence, our session will be also of 18 days only. Now we are going to cover these 5 very important topics today. Very, very important topics. Not today only, but in the entire course of this Bhagavad Gita. These are the five main topics which will be repeated again and again. Time and again, we will repeat these topics. So if you want, please make it note of it. We will talk about Ishwar. When I say Ishwar, there is only one, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the controller, the Krishna. The another topic we will talk about is the Jeev, the soul within our body, which is the controlled unit. Controller is Ishwar, that is Krishna, Supreme Personality, and controlled unit is we. The third topic we will talk about is the nature, that is Prakriti. Prakriti is anything you can see, which you can see and feel, like your mountains, your wood, your mobile phones, your tree, everything is Prakriti. The fourth topic is karma. Very, very important topic. Very important topic. If we understand this particular topic, then we can say yes, Bhagavad Gita is something which we understood. When we say karma, that is action. Whatever we do in the present, in the past, in the future, everything is action. So that is karma. And the fifth is kala. That means time factor. So the karma which we do, good, bad, akarma, vikarma, we will cover in this the coming days. In the kala is something future, present, past. So we will cover all these five topics in details. We will time again repeat these topics in the session. Now, in Bhagavad Gita, if you see, there are total of 700 slokas. 18 chapters are there, but it's divided into 700 slokas. 82% of the sloka is been said by our Krishna, 574 sloks. That means Arjuna has said 84 sloks, 12%. Sanjay has said 41 sloks, which is 5.9%. And Dhritarashtra has said only one slok, and that is the first slok. So that is 0.1%. So 574 slok has been said by Krishna, Arjun 84 sloks, Sanjay 41, Dhritarashtra 1. Now let's understand this Kuru dynasty of Hastinapur. Let's understand the Kuru Vansh. If you see this Kuru Vansh, King Shantanu had two wives. The first one is Gangama, through which Bhishma got the birth. Second is Satyavati. Satyavati, from Satyavati, he had two sons, Chitrangad and Vichitravir. Chitrangad died in the battle before marriage, so he doesn't have any family. Vichitravir died childless, so there was no one to take care of the dynasty in future. But before marriage, from Parashar Rishi, Vyas was born, who is the author of Mahabharata. So since Vichitravir doesn't had any child, so Satyavati called Vyasa, and the two wives of Vichitravir were Ambika and Balika. So he impregnated Ambika, from which Dhritarashtra was born. Dhritarashtra married Gandhari, and he has 100 sons and a daughter, Tushala. Ambalika gave birth to Pandu. Pandu married two ladies, which is Kunti and Madri. Kunti before marriage has Karna, and from the first wife Kunti, Yudhishthir, Bhim, and Arjun was born, and second Madri, Nakul, and Sahdev. And Vidur was born from the third maid. So you may have questioned that how Vyas, who is a big rishi, he impregnated Ambalika and maid. See, it doesn't need a physical relation to do this. We think of this in our time, but this particular rishis were so great, so powerful, so advanced that they didn't need any kind of physical relationship to get anyone pregnant. Just by saying or giving fruits, that was the time. Now it's something which is not, you can think of its myth. No, it's not a myth. It's not something imaginative. It's actuals. We are not so advanced as rishis of that time. Rishis means researchers. We call today scientists as researchers, right? Those rishis are nothing but researchers. Those rishis at that particular time were so advanced that they could travel without aeroplane from one place to another place. By their positive vibes, Ambika, Ambalika, and the maid had child. So this is how the Kuru dynasty of Hastinapur grew. So if you can see the mood of Bhagavad Gita, see Arjun bewilderment and appearance of illusion must be understood to be Krishna arrangement. Now we will discuss this into the later part of the slide. Why Arjun got confused, why he got bewildered, why Krishna created such an environment that Arjun got confused and Arjun became the matter, the subject through which the entire Bhagavad Gita was discussed for our benefit. So let's start the journey with a single step. Let's begin the journey of Gita. Welcome everyone. Let's understand the Gita Mahatmya first. What does the slok says? Gita adhyana silasya pranayam parasya cha naiva santi hi papani purvajam kritani cha. What does Gita Mahatma says? If one reads the Bhagavad Gita with sincerity, and so by the grace of the Lord, the fruits of all his past misdeeds, it has no effect on him. That means if we read this Bhagavad Gita, if we understood this Bhagavad Gita, if we listen this Bhagavad Gita with ultimate sincerity, with full concentration, with full commitment, then by the grace of the Lord, the fruits of all his past misdeeds, whatever we have done wrong deeds in our previous lives, that effect will go away. Okay, I missed this first slide. Shankaracharya, the Adi Shankaracharya, he said that Gita Sastram idam punyam ya pathet prayata pumana Vishnu padam avapnoti bhaya shokadi varjitah. That means Bhagavad Gita is the divine literature. Who reads it carefully and obeys its precepts, he takes shelter of the Lord Vishnu, the one who is free from all the fear and anxieties. That is Gita Mahatmya. So it's not a simple kind of book. It's not a simple book. It's a book which is divine in nature, which is capable of lifting us from this mode of passion to the mode of goodness. I'm saying mode of passion because you all are in the mode of passion. Why? We will discuss in the later part. We need to obey it. We need to be very careful. And when if we read Bhagavad Gita, we will take the shelter of Krishna, Vishnu. We discuss this. The third one says, Gita Sugita Kartavya Kimnyo Sasta Vistarhe Ya Swayam Padnabhasya Mukha Padmadini Sritaha. Since the Bhagavad Gita is emerged from the mouth of the Lord, therefore there is no need to read any other Vedic literature. It's directly coming from the Krishna. Bhagavad Gita has emerged from the Lord. Therefore, there is no need of any other Vedic literature. Only Bhagavad Gita should be listened to and read carefully and with devotion, not for the sake of reading. We have to read it through devotion. Only one book, the Bhagavad Gita, is sufficient because it is the essence of all the Vedic text and is discoursed by the Lord. That means if we read it carefully, we listen to it carefully with complete devotion, then we don't need anything else because that is the actual nectar of all this spiritual thing, Vedic text, if you can say. Another shloka, the Gita Mahatma by Adi Shankaracharya. Sarvo Upanishado Gavo Dogda Gopala Nandana Partho Vatsa Sudhi Bhokta Dugdam Gita Amritam Mahata. What does he say? All the Upanishads are like a cow, and the milker of the cow is no one else other than Lord Sri Krishna, who is the son of Nanda. Arjuna is the calf, and beautiful nectar of Gita is the milk. And the fortunate devotees of fine theistic intellect are the drinkers and enjoyers of that milk. That means you and me, everyone is what? Very fortunate devotees who will drink this nectar of Gita, which is milk. That is the importance, that is the value of Bhagavad Gita. It's not an ordinary book, it's an special. So, what does this Bhagavad Gita mean? Bhagavad Gita means the song of the Lord. Bhagwan has sung a song for his devotee, Arjuna. And that song we are listening to it, we are understanding. So, this is our situation. We want to talk to the God. We want that Krishna should listen to us. We want Krishna should see us. Krishna should know what kind of problems we are facing. So we are always praying to Krishna. Please talk to me. Krishna is talking to us. Krishna is having conversation with us through Bhagavad Gita. We all want to be happy, right? Not only I, we all want to be happy. If you want to be really happy, we want to be free from our grief, then Bhagavad Gita is the only ultimate solution. And I'm not giving any tall claims. I'm not at all giving any tall claims. You yourself will realize at the end of the 18 days that yes, Bhagavad Gita has so much of regards, so much solutions. Because Bhagavad Gita is nothing but our life manual. You know the difference between Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Bhagavad Gita teaches how to live the life. Bhagavad Gita teaches us how to live the life. Bhagavatam instead teaches how to die. So living, if you want to live, Bhagavad Gita. If you want to die, Bhagavatam. Both are very important. So let's start the first chapter, Arjuna Visadh Yoga. You can see Arjuna Yoga of lamentation. Arjuna is in grief. Arjuna is in confusion. Let's see why. That's the first chapter. And this is the only sloka which Dhritarashtra has said. The first sloka, that's it. What he is saying? Dhritarashtra uvachaha dharma kshetre kurukshetre samveta yutsvaha mamkaha pandvashe kirmukurvat sanjaya. Dhritarashtra said, "Oh Sanjay, after my sons and the sons of the Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do?" That means he was really curious to know what is happening into the battlefield. Everyone is gathered. The Pandavas are gathered. The Kauravas are gathered to fight. So what is happening? And you know, by birth, Dhritarashtra was blind. Vyasa Rishi, he came. He offered divine eyes to Dhritarashtra so that he can see what is happening in the battlefield, right sitting into the palace. But he said to Vyasa Rishi that I have never seen anyone. Even though you give me divine eyes, I cannot identify who is my son, who is Pandav's sons, and who is who. I have never seen anyone. So it's better you offer that divine eyes to my secretary, to my Sachiv. He knows everyone. He will see what is happening to the battlefield and he will tell me the entire commentary of the battlefield. He was really curious. Two person have raised hand. Is there any issue? If you have any issues, please ping or send a message to the admin team. We will take any issues or questions, especially toward the end of the class. Now, uh, let's try to understand the situation why he was really curious. See, Pandu, Pandu, King Pandu was the actual owner of the kingdom, but since he died, Dhritarashtra was just a caretaker, and he always differentiated between his sons and Pandav sons. If you see, the son of Pandu were known as Pandavas, whereas son of Dhritarashtra were known as Kaurav. This is wrong. Kauravs, Dhritarashtra should be also known as Dhritarashtra, yeah, Dhatarashtra. Why Kaurava? Both belong to the Kaurav dynasty. So since both belong to the Kaurav dynasty, the Dhritarashtra should be said Kuru, Kaurav, and Pandava should be also said Kaurav, but they were said Pandava. Now, he was having some ill feelings. He wanted to give entire kingdom, entire property to his son Duryodhana, and he didn't want to share to Pandavas. And actual owners, actual rights of the property belong to Pandavas. So what he wanted? Now let me tell you why. You know, the milk is getting warm, and when the milk is really hot, if you sprinkle some drops of lemon into it, what will happen? You can see the second scenario, the second image. The milk will be split into the water and the milk, or you can see. Now he wants us to create a rasagulla out of this milk, and he wanted to offer this rasagulla, that means the ultimate product, ultimate benefit of the entire kingdom or the entire battlefield, to his son Duryodhana. That's why I say Dharma Kshetra. Why? And he was curious because the place where the battlefield was there, that is Kurukshetra. Kurukshetra is Dharma Kshetra. So he was curious that in the battlefield, which is Dharma Kshetra, is it Duryodhana has accepted all the demands of the uh, Arjuna, and he stopped fighting. He decided that he will not fight. He bowed down for Yudhishthir, because that's the ultimate effect of Dharma Kshetra. But he was having ill feelings. So let's move to the next sloka. When the entire battlefield was ready, both the armies were placed in different positions. Duryodhan come, he see the entire parade of the army of Arjun or Yudhishthir. He said, "Oh my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by intelligent disciple of the son of Drupada." The way the army was placed, the array of the army, by seeing that, Duryodhan got confused. He got anger, and he came to his teacher, who was Dronacharya, and said, "See, your disciple, Drishtidumna, who is the chief of the army, chief general of Pandu, he has designed the army in such a way, the array is designed in such a way, they, I had not expected it." He was really in anger, and the tone in which he talked to Drupad was not acceptable. But why he said that? Because Drishtidum was the actual disciple of Dronacharya, who was the son of Drupad. In one time, Drupad and Dronacharya were really good friends, but something went wrong, and they had a fight. But since Dronacharya was a teacher, Drupad sent his son to learn the skills, and since he was a teacher, he trained him, and that training is coming at a cost of today. That is what? He's saying, Duryodhana is saying, you can see his facial expression. He's not happy because the way their army, the Pandu army, are designed. By seeing the array of the army, he is getting into shock. But when the Bhishma, the great grandfather of Pandu and Kauravas, when he see that Duryodhan is not happy, what he did, then Bhishma, the great valiant grandsire of the Kuru dynasty, the grandfather of the fighters, blew his conch shell very loudly, making a sound like the roar of a lion, giving Duryodhana the joy. So by saying this, Bhishma blown his conch shell, and the sound was like a roaring of a lion. With this, Duryodhan got the joy. Yes, that I have someone. Our army is strong compared to Pandavas, even though the design of the army is really good. But I have Dronachar, I have Karna, I have Bhishma. That was the joy of Duryodhan. But on the other side, what happened? After Bhishma blown the conch shell, here, Lord Krishna and Arjun, stationed on a great chariot drawn by the white horses, sounded their transcendental conch shell. Now, the conch shell which they blown was transcendental, it was divya. And when they blown their conch shell, the sound which generated was so threatening that the entire Kaurav army were shattered. The blowing of this different conch shell became uproarious and thus vibrating both in the sky and the earth. It shattered the hearts of the son of Dhritarashtra. Both sides from the Kaurav and the Pandav, both sided uproared their conch shells. Conch shells are the sign of starting the war. It's a signal that the war is going to start. But when Arjuna and Krishna, the Krishna conch shell name is Panchajanya. When Krishna blown his conch shell, it was so uproaring. It was so uproaring that Dhritarashtra entire army went into the shock. That's what it says. It says, Saghosho Dhatarashtrana Hridyani Vyadarateh Nabhyash Prithvina Chaiva Tumul Abhyunadyan. You can see in the 19th slok it says Dhatarashtanam. That means son of Dhritarashtra. The 20th slok it says Atha Vyavasthan Drishta Dhatarashtan कपिध्वज प्रवृत्ते शस्त्र संपाते धनु उद्यम पांडव ऋषिकेशम तदा वाक्यम इदमः महीपते. At that time, Arjun, the son of Pandu, seated in the chariot bearing the flag marked with the Hanuman, took up his bow and prepared to shoot his arrow. O king, after looking at the son of Dhritarashtra drawing in military array, Arjun then spoke to Lord Krishna these words. That means this is something which Sanjay is telling to Dhritarashtra. What? That Arjun, who is into the chariot, transcendental chariot it was, not a normal chariot, which was marked with Hanuman. The Dhwaja was there with Hanuman. Took up his bow. He was ready to shoot his arrows. But suddenly he said something to Krishna. What he said? Let's see. In the midst of the battlefield. This is how Arjun is getting ready to fight the war, but suddenly he wants to discuss something with Krishna. He said, Arjuna said, "O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies so that I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms." He said that let me see that whom I am going to fight. Please draw my chariot in the midst of the both armies. I want to see who desires to fight with me. There Arjuna could see when he said Krishna draw his chariot in the midst of both the army, and Arjuna see that within the midst of the armies of both parties, his fathers, grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, friends, and also his father-in-law and well-wishers are there. When the chariot was there in the midst, he could see that his closed relatives, his friends, his well-wishers are there who are ready to fight with him. He was getting shocked to see them. That's why the chapter name is Arjun Lamentation. That means Vishada. Arjuna Vachaha दृष्टेम स्वजनम कृष्ण युत्सुम समुपस्थितम सिद्धंति मम गात्राणि मुखम च परिशुष्यति. Arjuna said, my dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up. By seeing the relatives, the friends, the well-wishers, he got shivers of the life. He said, my mouth is drying up. I am going to fight with them. They are my friends, they are my relatives, they are my family men, they are my kinsmen. How I can fight with them? I am losing control of my life. My body is not supporting me. My body is going out of control. I do not see how any good can come from killing my own kinsmen in this battle, nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom, or happiness. He say, I don't understand that if I kill them, when he say I kill them, that means he knows that he has the guts, he has the confidence, he has the power that if he fight the war, he will kill them. But he says, if I will kill my own kinsman in this battle, what benefit I'm going to draw? I don't want any kind of victory, kingdom, or happiness. He's saying further, oh Govinda, of what avail to us are a kingdom, happiness, even life itself, when all of those for whom we may desire them are not arrayed on this battlefield. He said that if I get all this happiness, kingdom, everything, but those for whom I am doing all this, if they are dead, if they are not there, then what is the benefit? He's saying, oh Madhusudana, when teachers, fathers, son, grandfathers, maternal uncles, father-in-law, grandson, brother-in-law, and other relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties and are standing before me, why should I wish to kill them, even though they might otherwise kill me? He's saying that when everyone, whether it is teacher, father, father-in-law, maternal uncles, all the relatives, they are ready to fight for me, I will not kill. Let them kill me. Let them kill me. I don't want to kill them. Let I be killed. O maintainer of all the living entities, who he is saying to Krishna, maintainer of all the living entities, I am not prepared to fight with them even in exchange for the three worlds. He's saying, even if I get all the three lokas, all the three worlds, I am not going to fight, because if they are not there, how I will enjoy the benefits, how I will enjoy these three worlds. Let know this earth. Forget about this earth. I will not fight. Even I will get the three worlds. What pleasure will be derived from killing the son of Dhritarashtra? I'm not going to derive any pleasure. So what he's saying? He is basically confused. He's he is full of compassion. He's saying there is no pleasure if I kill the son of Dhritarashtra. Now, if you see in one of the shloka, Prabhupada writes that according to the Vedic injunctions, there are six kind of aggressors. A poison giver. The second is one who sets fire to the house. The third one who attacks with deadly weapons. The fourth is one who plunders riches. Fifth one who occupies another lands. And the sixth is one who kidnaps a wife. Such aggressors are at once to be killed, and no sin is incurred in killing such aggressors. If you see in Vedic injunctions, These are the 6 symptoms of aggressors, and if anyone kills them, there is nothing harm. And all these were done by the Kauravas. Duryodhan has given poison. Second, if you see, Duryodhan has set the fire, Lakshagri. Duryodhan had tried to kill Pandavas with deadly weapons, and he has tried to extract their richness by extracting their money, property. Fifth, one who occupies another land, he tried to occupy their entire property. And the one last was kidnapping Draupadi itself. So it was wrong. So if you see the next sloka says, with the destruction of the dynasty, he said that when I will fight the war, the entire dynasty, the entire ones will go away. It will be killed. The eternal family tradition, the Shashwat family tradition is vanquished. It will vanish. And thus the rest of the family becomes involved in irreligion. When irreligion is prominent in the family, oh Krishna, the woman of the family become polluted, and from degradation of the womanhood or descendant of Vishnu comes unwanted progeny. He said that when the entire Vansh, entire dynasty will be killed, there will no one will be there to protect women. And since there will be no one to protect women because men will be killed into the battlefield, women will become polluted. Anyone can capture the woman and can do wrong deeds with them. And when wrong deeds will happen, then unwanted progeny will be there. An entire family tradition, the Shashwat family tradition, will be destroyed. So he is a fear that the entire family tradition will be destroyed. He is saying, Sankaro narkaiva kul ghanam kulasya patanti pitro esham lupt pind udak kriya. He is saying an increase of unwanted population. That means the child which will be born, which is unwanted, unaccepted, certainly causes hellish life both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. The ancestor of such corrupt families fall down because the performances for offering them food and water are entirely stopped. You know, when the ancestors basically the kriya in it's which is said offering of food and water, that nothing but pindadana. When this offering of food and water pindadana will be done, the ancestor will not accept because the son which is born is unwanted. He will not accept it. So it will be falling down. Such corrupt practices will be happening. The family will fall down. The family tradition will be destroyed. So he is giving the reasons why not to fight. So the end, what Sanjay is saying, Sanjay uvacha evam uktva Arjuna sankhe ratopast upavishitah visajya sansharam chapam shoka samvrigamanasah. Sanjay said, Arjuna, having thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrow and sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief. He is so full of grief that he sees no benefit in fighting. He said he has all the reasons to avoid the fight. He's shivering, he's querying, he's saying that if I fight, all my kingsmen will be gone. He's running away from the fight. In Hindi, what we say, bhagoda. He's running away. He don't want to fight. He's putting his bow and arrow, and he is citing all the reasons why not to fight. And if we see from Arjun perspective, we feel yes, Arjun is right. Arjun is saying right. If we will fight, all wrong deeds will happen. So it's better to avoid the fighting. Fighting is should be the last resort. Battlefield is not a good place. There will be only losses and losses and losses. So Sanjay said to Dhritarashtra that Arjun is not ready to fight. He has set aside his bow and arrow, and he is sitting on the chariot, putting his hand on the head. His mind is overwhelmed with grief. You can see this is how he started to the fight. He picked up his bow and arrow, but later he asked Krishna to take his chariot in the midst of the army. And then this is the situation. I will show you. This is the situation. He is full of grief, full of grief, and he is giving. You can see his condition. You can see the tears coming from his eyes, and he is giving 5 reasons not to fight. The first reason is compassion. You can see the tear coming. He is full of compassion. He says there is no enjoyment, no enjoyment. Even though if I get all the 3 lokas, 3 planets, I'm not going to fight. Forget about the earth. He's saying it will be sin. The family traditions will be destroyed. So you can see all the reasons which is given by Arjuna, and he was indecisive. He was not knowing. He can't take decisions. So you can see the 5 topmost reasons which Arjuna is giving to Krishna that he don't want to fight. Sorry. But let me tell you, there are 9 reasons why if Arjun will fight, he will win the war. 9 signs of victory. Let me tell you. The first was Dharmashetra, because the place Kurukshetra where the war was fought was Dharmashetra. So someone who is at the side of Dharma will always win the war. Second, it was a divine chariot. It was not an ordinary one. Third reason was Kapi Dhwaj. You can see the Dhwaj. Here Hanuman is there. So wherever Hanuman is there, that particular side is going to win the war. Sankhanad. Krishna himself has blown his conch shell Panchajanya. And the Gandiv was given by Shiva, Pashupastra. So the Gandhi was not an ordinary bomb. Takta Jivita. Takta Jivita means something which immediately comes on the tongue. And that particular day was Mokshada Ekadashi. It was very, very, very special day. And wherever Krishna is, Bhagya Lakshmi is there. When Krishna is there, Lakshmi is there. Where Lakshmi is there, then definitely Arjun is going to win the war. These are all the signs of. And Rishikesha, yes. Rishikesha means one who controls all the indriyas, all the senses. Rishikesha is Krishna. Krishna is nothing but Ram, and wherever Ram will be there, Hanuman will automatically be there. These are all the 9 reasons that if Arjun fights a war, he will win. But Arjun was thinking that if I will fight, I will win. But because of that, I have to kill everyone. And when everyone will be killed, the entire family traditions will be lost. So he gave all these 5 reasons of not to fight. So you can see we came towards the end of the class. The first shloka, the first reference was Dhritarashtra inquiry. From 2nd slok to 11th slok, it was Duryodhan fear. From 12th shloka to 19th shloka, it was blowing of the conscious. 20 to 27th, it was Arjuna observation, and 28 to 46 was Arjun reasons not to fight the war. So with this, we come to the end of the class for day one. So you see, tomorrow will be a very special class because Arjun has given 5 reasons of not to fight, and tomorrow Krishna is going to answer their questions. Krishna is going to answer the question of Arjuna. Krishna is just listening today, just a very good listener. Krishna is very good listener. He's not saying anything. Arjuna is talking about whatever he feels. Krishna is just listening. Tomorrow in the day 2, which is said Gita Sar, we will see what response Krishna gives to all the doubts of Arjun. Very important lesson tomorrow. So ensure that don't miss it. Don't depend on the YouTube because YouTube is something for postponing the things. So Mataji, we can take the question and answers.
Okay, Prabhuji. I request Dhruv Prabhuji to unmute.
Mataji,
Dhruv Prabhuji, please
Dhruv
unmute.
is my son only. He's just playing, so don't unmute him.
Okay. Okay, sorry. Shri Vidya Mataji, please unmute. Shri Vidya
Hare Krishna.
Mataji. Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I just have a doubt on Vyakta Jivita. Can you please explain?
See, Atvakta Jivita means instantly something which comes on your tongue. Normally, it's a saying that at least once in 24 hours, Saraswati Devi comes on your tongue. On that particular day of the war, Arjun said that if I will fight, I will win. That means he said, I fight, I will win. That means Tvakta Jivita. He said, and that
Okay.
will be true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Atish Prabhuji, please unmute. Atish Prabhuji.
Yes, I now who was Sanjay? Who are you referring to as Sanjay?
Um, if I have to explain Sanjay in simpler sentence, yeah, Sanjay was the secretary of Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra was blind. He needed support of someone. So he had appointed Sanjay to help him out. So he was a personal secretary of Dhritarashtra.
Okay, okay. And one more question. Now I just missed out on the split of the family between Kauravas and Pandavas from Yudhishthira. How did that happen?
See, normally, see, if you understand, it was a dynasty of Kuru. That means Kuru Vansh. So anyone who is from that particular dynasty should be known as Kaurav. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
We live in India. Since we live in India, we are said as Indians, right? Similarly,
Yes, yes.
anyone who is part of Kuru dynasty should be known as Kaurav. But
Okay.
Dhritarashtra was very clever. He wanted
Mm-hmm.
to get the entire property given to Duryodhan. So he said, my son is Kauravas, whereas Pandu son is known as not Kauravas. They are Pandavas. Pandu son is Pandav, and my son is
Okay,
Kauravas. Instead,
okay,
it
okay.
should be actually like Pandu son is Pandavas. It should be Dhritarashtra, Dhatarashtra, not Kauravas. That was the reference.
So Dhritarashtra was son of Yudhishthira.
No, 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 no. Yudhishthir is different. Yudhishthir is son of Pandu. You don't let me show you the slide again.
I'm from a nuclear family, so I'm very bad in relationships.
No, I will share it again to you. Can you see the slide?
Yes, I do. I do. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed again. So if you see here, Vichitravir, through Vichitravir, there were two wives, Ambika and Ambalika. From Ambika, Dhritarashtra
Yeah.
was born. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and Dhritarashtra has 100 sons and a daughter, Dushala.
Okay.
And from
Okay.
another wife, Ambalika, Pandu was born,
Okay.
and Pandu had two wives, Kunti and Madri, from which five sons were born, which is Yudhishthir, Bhim, Arjun, Nakul, and Sahadev. Okay,
Okay.
so since he was although he was the elder, but he was blind. So as a part of politics, any king who is blind should not be made the king. So Pandu was made the king, but
Yeah.
yeah, Pandu was made the king. That was the entire kingdom belongs to Pandu. But when Pandu died, so Dhritarashtra just became the caretaker of the property.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, but since he was just a caretaker, he has ill feelings towards Pandu sons. That's why he wanted to give the entire property to Duryodhana instead of giving to Yudhishthir, because Yudhishthir was the elder of the Pandavas.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
Okay, you got it?
Yes, I got it now.
Yeah.
And one last question. Could you
Mhm.
please summarize slokas between 1.1 and 1 to 1.13?
1.2 and 1.13, you can see it was done into the last slide. See, we can't cover all the slokas, but if you see 1.2 to 1.11, that means maximum of the
Yes.
sloka in this was the fear of Duryodhan. Duryodhan has seen the way the general of the Pandav, which is Drishtidumna, has arranged the army, the array, the parade which he has created. By seeing that arrangement, Duryodhan had fear in his mind.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Rajan Prabhuji, please unmute. Rajan
Hi,
Prabhuji.
hi, Rajan here.
Hare Krishna, Babu.
So, Hare Krishna. So, when was Draupadi kidnapped by Duryodhana?
When we say kidnap, that means if you see, you know the history of 14 years of one was given to this
Yes, yes.
Pandavas. So that was the play which has happened between Shakuni, Duryodhan, Yudhishthir. In that, the gamble which was done, the gambling, because of the result of the gambling, it was been done. That was been normally termed as kidnapping. Okay, it is termed as kidnapping.
Okay, but it's not actually a kidnap, right? That
No, it's not actually kidnap, which is right now happening in the current context of this time, but it was the talk of the town that in the gambling means he's kidnapped it.
okay.
Yeah, in that reference. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Usha Mataji, please unmute. Usha Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
It was a wonderful session, Prabhuji. Thanks a lot. I have only one question. Does this ISKCON Paddhati follow the Dhyanam part of Bhagavad Gita also, or directly start with chapter 1? Gita Dhyan.
Mataji, if you see Bhagavad Gita, 18 chapters are divided basically into three parts. The first 6 chapter talks about more on the Karma Yoga. The middle 6 chapters, which is from 7 to 12, talks about the Bhakti Yoga. And the last 6 chapters talks about the Gyan Yoga.
Okay.
Dhyan is part, but not too focused. Because what we say, Dhyan is something which is done by Nirgun people. We follow the part of Bhakti Yoga. Dhyan is important, definitely, because unless and until you concentrate on anything, it's difficult to achieve. But it's important. But more than that, the Gyan and Bhakti is important. We will see. In the coming days, we will see. We have a important slide on that. We have an important chapter on that.
Yeah, because somebody told me that before reciting the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita, make sure that you first recite the shlokas of Dhyana. So that was the confusion I had. That's why I wanted a clarity. Thank you.
That will be coming in the coming chapters, Mataji.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it will be there.
Yeah.
Hema Mataji, please unmute and ask your question.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna.
I would like to thank you for this wonderful session and beautiful divine knowledge. I did not had this much of knowledge. Is through your source I got this knowledge. Prabhuji, my question is about Rishikesha, that is having control over senses.
Mhm.
Can we apply this in our life? Having
Yes,
control.
yes, Mataji. See, we are into the first day. That means we are just setting the stage. The- If you see, the first chapter doesn't have too much of information, but every chapter has more information than the previous chapter. Like the Mataji we said, Dhyana Yoga, just
Yeah.
before you. There is an entire chapter number 7, sorry, 6, chapter number 6, which is focused on Dhyana Yoga only. So similarly, we will cover many important topics, including controlling the senses, because we actually, if you see, we are gratified by our senses.
Exactly.
We are gratified. How to control that senses is the important thing, and we will cover that topic. We will consider that, because if you don't control the senses, then we cannot control anything. We are basically lost. So we will see how we can control our senses in a very easy and acceptable kind of way. So be with us. Every chapter will give some important lessons. The learning of the life will be coming in due course of time through each and every chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So please be with us, Mataji. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Vidisha Mataji, please unmute.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna,
Uh,
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
I had a question. You mentioned about the 6 Vedic injections and such people the people who kill such people would bear no sins. But where is this written and who says this? Because until now, Krishna has not spoken, right?
Yes, Mataji. Krishna has nodded. You are right. Krishna will start speaking from chapter number 2. But if you read the Bhagavad Gita as it is, the purport which is written by Prabhupada has mentioned that. Okay, Prabhupada has written into the purport, and
Okay.
and if you read this Bhagavad Gita in details, he has given even the reference of Vedic scriptures from where he is quoting that reference.
Okay, so this would be the book that you showed us on day 0, right?
Yes, Mataji. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have shared the ebook link also. You can download it. If you want, you can order the hard copy also. If you have hard copy, well and good.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Deepankar Prabhuji, please
Good
unmute.
evening, Prabhuji.
Hare
Good evening,
Krishna, Prabhu.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare,
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, there are 2 questions. First is, I am a person who is a layman, doesn't know anything, and always go with science and logics and things like that. But something really connects me. At this initial slides, you mentioned that, like how Pandu had 2 wives, and there are like different relationships that we talk in Mahabharata. Nowadays, I mean, if I say that I have 2 wives, then it will be a legal action on me. But those days, if I say Draupadi having 5 husbands, all these things, I don't know why I feel very disturbing. One. Secondly, sir, in today's chapters, I mean, whatever we learned today, from 1.1 to 1.46, the slides, I mean, the mantras, what is the summary? What should I take away? Because it was like a story to me. So I'm not understanding, like, what should I take away from today's lesson?
See, first thing, the first question was that how we are relating the Bhagavad Gita Mahabharat kind of time and today's time. That time, many wives, one person. Today is difficult. Yes, see, scenario changes, circumstances changes. If you see, still in the Hindu system, you can't have many wives, but if you see in Islamic system, there are many wives. At least 4 wives are allowed. So it still exists. The rule, the Hindu code of bill has come. It has changed it to manage different aspects. That's a different question. Plus, if you talk about the takeaway of chapter number 1, The takeaway of chapter number 1 is simple, that by seeing his all kinsmen, he's seeing all the relatives, Arjun was in grief that why should I fight the war? What is the benefit I'm going to derive if I fight the war? So this is the situation of everyone like us. Now, if you see, if you relate the learning of chapter 1 with the day-to-day life of ours, we also, when we start something new, suppose like we start some business, we start some projects, we have too much of confusions. We are also in the same state of confusion like Arjun, whether to do, not to do. What will be the repercussions? Whether should I take the risk or not? Or suppose a person who is changing the job in the age of 40 or 50, midst of 50 something, he will think 100 times whether to switch or not switch, or whether if want to open a new business, whether to do it or not. He would be having a risk of losing the savings which he had accumulated till time. So that's the situation of Arjun also. Arjun is so confused that whether should I fight the war or not, because he know he's so confident. He's a Kshatriya. He's topmost Kshatriya. He knows if I will fight, I will win. So if I will win, but at the cost of losing the lives of my relatives, my friends, my near dear ones, they will lose their life. So I will enjoy for home. Similarly, that's the same situation for us also. If we tend to do new things, there are too much of thoughts coming in whether to do or not to do. We are also in the state of confusion like Arjun. So to clear this state of confusion, tomorrow chapter is very important, and it gives a learning for us also how we will also clear our state of confusion like Arjuna has. Hare Krishna.
Deepankar Prabhuji, please unmute.
I've already asked my question.
Deepankar Prabhuji. Okay, sorry. Medha Mataji, please unmute.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Is Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I have a single question. That is, there were 9 reasons why Arjuna will win the war. So in that case, we have there are 2 terms that you have used. That is Kapidwaja and Shankamada. Can you please explain these 2 points again?
Pardon?
Kapidwaja and Shankamada, like these are the 2 terms that you have used. So can you please explain the terms?
Actually, it was Shankadhwani because the conchals, the Shankh was blown by Krishna and Arjuna. Krishna Shankh was known as Panchajanya. So it's a sign that when we start the war, Shankh has to be blown, conchal has to be blown. So when Krishna is blowing the Shankh, that means Krishna is giving a signal that yes, the war is going to start. So since Krishna is there, Dharma is there. So that is one of the reason. And Kapi Dhwaja means wherever Kapi means monkey. Kapi means monkey. Monkey is Hanuman. So wherever Hanuman will be there, that particular side of the war will be always be going towards the winning of it. He will be victory of it. That's the 2 reasons. That's the 2 of the 9, Mataji. Hope I answered the questions.
Vikas Prabhuji, please unmute.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, just wanted to check. Actually, my understanding was that, Draupadi during their exile period, she was kidnapped by, brother-in-law of Duryodhan. So just wanted to, validate if my understanding is right, or, it was just kind of.
No, Prabhu. It was not kidnapped during that particular period. It was given as just a reference.
Okay.
Yeah, it was not. She was not kidnapped because that was the time where they were basically they were not known. They have undergone their different names. They were staying in a different way, so that they could not be identified by Duryodhan and their members.
Yeah,
that
so
was the last year.
It was actually before entering the Agyatavasa.
Yes.
The very last day,
Yeah.
they were, Duryodhan and Shakuni, they sent their, brother-in-law to the Kutia where the Pandavas, they were staying. And this is something that I've actually seen in a TV
Yeah,
series.
yes.
Yeah.
See,
So
don't go through the TV serials,
sure.
PM, because
Okay.
TV serials, what they do, they distort the entire facts.
Gotcha.
They show something which is not there into the text. They just try to entertain everyone. If you see the serials, today's serials are all polluted, all contaminated.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Avanya Mataji, please unmute. Avanya Mataji.
Hello.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
प्रभु जी, this is Mahesh here.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
हाँ, ये मैंने अपने बेटी के नाम से ज्वाइन किया था. सॉरी.
ओके.
मैं एक क्वेश्चन पूछना चाहता था कि हमारी लाइफ में हमारे इतने धर्म हैं, हिंदू, मुस्लिम, सिख, ईसाई. ईसाई धर्म के लोग इतना सक्सेसफुल रहते हैं, इतना मतलब हमेशा, एंड पीपल लाइक अस, हम इतने धर्मयोगी, कर्मयोगी रहते हैं, भगवान का भजन करते हैं, फिर भी वी लिव पुअर, डाई पुअर. ऐसा क्यों होता है कि सबसे ज्यादा दुर्भाग्य हमें ही देखने को क्यों मिल रहा है? हमारे जैसे धर्म लोग, हम इतना अनुयायी लोग हैं, इतने वेदों पुराण को पढ़ने वाले लोग हैं, ऐसा क्यों होता है हमारे साथ?
प्रभु जी, shall I answer a question in English or Hindi?
आप हिंदी में ही कर दीजिए, क्योंकि बहुत सारे लोग हैं, शायद हिंदी में उनको अच्छा लगेगा सुनने में.
ओके. प्रभु जी, बहुत सारे धर्म नहीं है प्रभु जी, धर्म तो एक ही है, सनातन धर्म. दिस जो आप देखते हैं ना, क्रिश्चियन, इस्लाम, एवरीथिंग, दिस इज पंथ. सनातन धर्म इसलिए कह रहा हूँ क्योंकि धर्म की स्थापना मनुष्य नहीं कर सकते. धर्म की स्थापना जो है ईश्वर कर सकते हैं, और सनातन धर्म की स्थापना ईश्वर द्वारा हुई है. बाकी तो धर्म की स्थापना जो कर रहे हैं वो धर्म नहीं है, पंथ है, जिसको लोग अपने अपने दुकान चलाने के लिए कर रहे हैं. अब आपका प्रश्न है कि बाकी क्रिश्चियन धर्म इतने सक्सेसफुल हैं, हम इतने नहीं. बट टू बी वेरी हॉनेस्ट, आपको सही बताऊं, हम धर्म के बारे में जानते ही नहीं कुछ. हम कहते हैं कि हम बहुत धर्म वाले हैं, हम बहुत पूजा पाठ करने वाले, हम वेद को मानने वाले हैं, लेकिन अगर मैं पूछ लूं कि वेद का एक्चुअल अर्थ क्या है, वेद से आप क्या समझते हैं, वेद का सार क्या है, तो कोई नहीं जल्दी बता पाएगा. बहुत गिने चुने लोग ही बता पाएंगे. बहुत सारे लोग भगवत गीता में कितने श्लोक हैं, कितने अध्याय हैं, उनको भी पता नहीं है. कितने पुराण हैं, उनको पता नहीं है. यानी हम इधर उधर से सुनते हैं और हमको लगता है कि हम तो बड़े आध्यात्मिक हो गए, वी आर वेरी स्पिरिचुअल, वी नो एवरीथिंग, वी आर वेरी रिलीजियस. लेकिन एक्चुअल में हमारे पास बहुत थोड़ा नॉलेज है. अगर हमको हमारे धर्म के बारे में कोई अगर दो बात बोल देता है तो हम उसको जवाब नहीं दे पाते. क्यों? वी आर नॉट वेरी कॉन्फिडेंट. हमको अपने धर्म के बारे में ही पता नहीं है. वी आर सो एनग्रॉस्ड इन आवर डेली रूटीन वर्क कि हम धर्म के बारे में जानने की कोशिश नहीं करते हैं. कहीं यहाँ से सुन लिया, कहीं वहां से सुन लिया. एक्चुअल सोर्स जो है, जो एक्चुअल सोर्स है, ओरिजिनल सोर्स, उससे हम दूर रहते हैं. ऑथेंटिक सोर्स पे के पास जाते नहीं. इसके लिए क्या हो जाता है कि हमारे पास नॉलेज भी नहीं होती है और हम प्रोग्रेस भी नहीं कर पाते हैं. और एक्चुअली आप देखेंगे ना, भगवत गीता एक नॉर्मल अंडरस्टैंडिंग है पीपल के में, स्पेशली इन द मासेस. देयर इज एन अंडरस्टैंडिंग दैट कि अगर आप भगवत गीता पढ़ेंगे, भागवत पढ़ेंगे, तो आप तो साधु महात्मा हो जाएंगे, आप घर छोड़ देंगे, परिवार छोड़ देंगे. हाँ, आप तो पर्वतों में, कंदराओं में, वृंदावन में चले जाएंगे, हरिद्वार चले जाएंगे. ऐसा नहीं होता है. एक्चुअली फिर से अगर आप भगवत गीता पढ़ते हैं तो आपको अच्छा बिजनेस करने आने लगता है. आप अच्छे इंसान बन जाते हैं, अच्छे प्रोफेसर बन जाते हैं, अच्छे हाउसवाइफ बन जाते हैं. आपकी बिजनेस डीलिंग्स अच्छी होने लगती हैं, आपकी प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी बढ़ जाती है. भगवत गीता खाली हमें कृष्ण और अर्जुन के ज्ञान को तो समझा रही है, लेकिन लाइफ को कैसे जीना है भगवत गीता वो सिखाती है हमें. तो हाउ वी कैन मेक यूज ऑफ भगवत गीता, दैट इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट. सबसे बड़ा मोटिवेशनल बुक है भगवत गीता. अभी हम कितने डिप्रेशन में रहते हैं, कितने स्ट्रेस में रहते हैं, लाइफ में हमारे इतने सारे प्रॉब्लम्स, इतने सारी समस्याएं हैं कि हम कुछ सोल्यूशन निकालते नहीं. कितने लोग सुसाइड करते हैं, कितने लोग घर छोड़ के भाग जाते हैं. बट एक्चुअल में if we read Bhagavad Gita in true sense and if we understand Bhagavad Gita in the right context, प्रॉब्लम्स अपने आप सॉल्व हो जाएंगे. घर में जो लड़ाइयाँ झगड़े होते हैं, जिसकी वजह से आपको क्या लगता है, घर में जो लड़ाई झगड़ा माहौल खराब होता है, उससे आप प्रोग्रेस कर पाएंगे? उससे आपका मन जो है कॉन्सेंट्रेटेड ही नहीं होता है. आप अपना 100% कोई चीज में दे ही नहीं पाते हैं. जब कोई आप 100% देंगे नहीं तो आप प्रोग्रेस कहाँ से करेंगे?
प्रभु जी, आपका कहना है कि अगर हम गीता को अच्छे से पढ़ेंगे और इसके ज्ञान को हम हमेशा अपने काम में लाएंगे, इसका पूरा अच्छे से अनुसरण करेंगे, तो क्या हम सक्सेसफुल हो जाएंगे, रिच हो जाएंगे,
प्रभु
दूसरे
जी,
लोगों को पीछे छोड़ देंगे?
प्रभु जी, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल भगवत गीता आपको अच्छे से दिल से समझना पड़ेगा। खाली सुन करके ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि यहाँ से सुना और यहाँ से निकल गया। अगर यहाँ से सुन के यहाँ से निकल गया तब तो यूजलेस है। लेकिन यहाँ से सुनने के बाद शुड गो टू योर हार्ट। अगर आपके हार्ट में जाता है ना, दिल में पहुंचता है, हृदय में पहुंचता है, तो जाके बेनिफिट होगा। क्योंकि भगवत गीता एक ऐसी चीज है कि आपके जीवन की दिशा को बदल देगी और आप बहुत कुछ कर सकते हैं जो आज तक नहीं किए। आप एक अच्छे ओरेटर बन सकते हैं, एक अच्छे मोटिवेटर बन सकते हैं, एक अच्छे बिजनेसमैन बन सकते हैं, एक अच्छे गाइड बन सकते हैं, एक अच्छे इंसान बन सकते हैं।
धन्यवाद
और
सर, आपने तो बस
और डेफिनेटली अच्छे से बिजनेस भी कर सकते हैं आप।
ठीक है सर, हम भी पढ़ेंगे अभी गीता को। थैंक यू,
दैट्स व्हाई आई ऑलवेज से बी विद अस टिल द लास्ट डे। अगर आप आधे अधूरे में छोड़ देंगे या किसी समस्याओं के कारण, किसी प्रॉब्लम के कारण अगर आप यू कांट कनेक्ट टू द क्लास, देन you will be at loss. I will conduct the class even though if there are 10 people. But if maximum of the people are joining the class, they are the actual beneficiary. If you want to derive the benefits of Bhagavad Gita, you have to be committed. You have to give your time. Hare Krishna Mataji.
ठीक है प्रभु जी, धन्यवाद।
Dipti Mataji, please unmute and ask your question. Dipti Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Shilpa Mataji, please unmute. Shilpa Mataji, please unmute. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I had one question. That is, Arjun had Krishna and so many other things to help him. Okay, like divine chariot, then Gandiva, then etc. and etc. Whereas Kauravas had nothing like that. So why such discrimination?
No, Mataji. No, Mataji. There was a big imbalance between Kauravas and Pandavas. Pandavas' army was small, although it was very well organized by the Ishtadyumna, but the comparison between both the armies was not there. Whereas Kaurav army was really big. It has Karna, it has Dronachar, to whom defeat is not known. No one can defeat Dronachar. And on top of that, Bhishma was there. Bhishma was the actual Great Wall of China. No one can destroy him, like kind of thing. Wherever Bhishma will be there, victory will be there. That was the understanding. So it was a imbalance. Here, if you see towards Pandav, the biggest benefit was Krishna was there. And why Krishna was there with Pandavas? Because Dharma was there. They were right. And here, in towards Kaurav side, they were wrong. In spite of being wrong, there were many heavyweights, which had the power, which had the courage to turn the entire war itself. Okay, so there was not an imbalance, Mataji. Actual imbalance was towards Pandav side, not Kaurava sides.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Dipti Mataji, please unmute. Dipti Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Who is this? Shilpa Mataji. Okay, that is over. Alina Mataji, please unmute.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Leena this side. So I now, basing on the last point which you had said, it just strikes me to ask you. So when Krishna was on the side of Dharma, then when Dronacharya, then Bhishma Pitama, who are such powerful souls, then why did they choose the side of Adharma in the battlefield?
Mataji will see, if for that you have to go to read Mahabharata in details. Actually, Bhishma has taken a vow. He has taken a pledge to support Hastinapur irrespective of the situation, whether they are right or wrong. So he has to fulfill his pledge that whether they are wrong, in spite of all the wrong deeds of Duryodhan and Dhritarashtra, he has to support them. Similarly, Dronachar was also there, Karna was also there. Duryodha was a very good person in terms of politics. In terms of politics, he was really good. He know how to bound the people towards them. He has offered so much of wealth and facilities and properties and many more kind of things to Dronacharya, to Karn, that they were loyal to him. They had to be loyal to him.
Okay,
Yeah,
so kind
that's
of he purchased the loyalty then in that case,
yes,
his
yes, yes,
terms,
yes,
if
yes,
we
mother.
say that
Yes,
right example of a politician, then how you
yes.
can garner the public towards yourself or towards your side.
See, Karna was always been insulted by Pandavas. So what he done?
Hmm.
He has offered Anga Pradesh. He made Karn the king of the Anga Pradesh, and he
Hmm.
has made the Angaraj to Karn. So now what will happen? Since he has offered as a king of that particular region, now
Hmm.
Karn has to do loyalty with him.
Do loyalty with Duryodhan in that
Yes, yes,
case.
yeah.
Okay, so Prabhuji, I know that yes, you have mentioned this, but for the sake of repetition, please pardon me that I am sharing this thought or putting this question again, and perhaps it would be beneficial even to the group who are listening to us right now. That what you are sharing the shlokas and its interpretation. My thought is that how we will be able to use it in our lives. So we understand that yes, if you are on the side of dharma, then Krishna would be there with you. So we need to use our consciousness to decide between good and bad or the righteousness. We need to choose the path. But on the other side, if we now look at Duryodhan being politically, so somebody who is having a political mind or in a workplace, like we see, there is so much of power crazy people. And to get that power or to get their position, they do anything and then they get it. So is it that they are also right then in their own way? And many times in our lives, we are finding, we are seeing also that if we're in the fight of righteousness, law of karma is not working. But people who we can see that they are deviating from the right path, they are doing things in a shortcut way. For them, law of karma does not hold true. I mean, at least we are not able to see the law of karma affecting them.
Mataji, actually, since it was the first day,
Hmm.
you will see in the coming days, we will talk about two things, which is materialism and spiritualism. Spiritualism, which we will talk, materialism, we will talk in details. See, in this materialistic world,
Hmm.
we want name, fame, power,
Power.
right?
Yes.
And
Hmm.
whether it is office, in every office there is politics. To gain power, to gain promotion, to gain uh, any kind of benefits, lots of misdeeds are also being done. And if we say that he is getting the benefits in spite of doing all the wrong things,
Hmm.
why the law of karma doesn't apply to him? See,
Hmm.
Mataji, although most of the people have gone, but then also I will say, we will take this topic in details. But since you have asked this question, I will just touch upon the topic.
Okay.
See, there are three kinds of karmas. Okay, there are three kind of karma. One
Hmm.
is the prarabdha, which is your fortune. Okay,
Okay.
one is
Hmm.
prarabdha. Another is the sanchit karma.
Hmm.
Okay, something which you have kept all the karma, you have gained all the karma in your all previous lives.
Hmm.
Okay, and the third is known as kriyamanakam, which is
Hmm.
the life of karma of current life.
Present life. Okay.
Present life, yes, present life. If you have done some good things in your previous births,
Hmm.
journeys, You are basically extracting the benefit of it. Until unless you extract the benefits, that karma will go off. But whatever you're doing wrong, whether you are backbiting, whether you are buttering, whether you are taking the benefit of other works, whatever karma you are doing, even the slightest of the karma is been noted in the diary of Krishna. Nothing is getting unnoticed. Everything is getting noticed. So when your good karma will get over, the result of bad karma will start. So you are actually deriving the benefit of the karma which you have done in your previous jans, previous births. So if you see, there are many people who doesn't do anything.
Yes.
They don't know how to talk also, but they are millionaires, billionaires.
Yes. Financial wealth is abundant for them.
Financial wealth, and they are so politically connected that people are just moving behind them. Yes. But there you can see certain section of people that they are so laborious, they are doing too much of work, but then also it's hand to mouth situation for them.
Yes.
Because of the law of karma, Mataji. We will cover this topic in detail. I just touch upon this since you asked the question. We will touch in details in the coming adhyas.
Okay. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Vidisha Mataji, please unmute.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Building on what Shilpa Mataji just asked about the imbalance, I agree what you said that the number on the other side was high, but we should also remember that Pandavas was actually coming from God, right? Because Kunti had that boom wherein if she prayed to the God, a son would be born to her. So they come with powers of God, whereas Duryodhan and everyone, they do not have, they're just normal human being. So isn't that also one of the example of imbalance?
No, Mataji, it's not an example. If you see, Kunti had that boon, right? One of the child, the elder child was Karna. The Karna was on the side of Kauravas, right?
Correct, but what you mentioned is that Karan had to choose because Duryodhan always supported him, whereas Pandavas and even Draupadi insulted him.
True. But if you see, in spite of being the son of the gods or the boon which Kunti has, but then also there were many. If you see, read the chapter in details, there were not one, two, three. There were Karna, there was Dronacharya, there were Duryodhan itself was so powerful. Itself, he has the power of 10,000 elephants. Dushasan, and there were many more kings, including the father-in-law of Arjuna, Pandava's father-in-law. They were also on the side of Kaurava. So it was an imbalance in terms of power, and the heavyweight powers were towards the Kaurava sides.
But they were son of God, so they came with power, right? I mean, I understand they did wrong.
Mataji, in that way, we are also son of gods. Okay,
we
are also son of gods. Yeah, it's not that way. You have to read the chapter 1 in details, Mataji. Please read this. It will give you detailed information.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
I know I am just listening that we have some soft corners for Duryodhana also.
No, not soft corner. I think that it's choosing between the bads, because I mean, yes, I agree. I've seen the serials and it's not completely 100% correct, and they dramatize things and they also modify things. But I feel both the sides were wrong. So, for example, when Draupadi insulted Karn because she wanted to marry Arjun, that too because Krishna had said that you should marry Arjun because he is good person, and she feared that Karan also had the power to win the Swamvar. She insulted him, so I felt that was incorrect. So it's like choosing between the bad. So I understand certain places, even the Pandavas were wrong. That's what I feel.
See,
overall, yes, they were correct.
If you read Mataji, shloka from 1.4 to 1.9, you will get your doubts clear that why there is same balance. Why I'm saying that same balance, and the heavyweights are towards the Kaurava sides, not towards the Arjuna sides. Okay. The only one heavyweight which was there towards Arjun's side was Krishna.
Yes.
And that was the biggest of the heavyweights. That was the biggest. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Archana Mataji, please ask your question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
So I have just two questions. The first one is regarding the Ved Vyasji. So Ved Vyasji was the son of Satyavati, right? So who was the father of Ved Vyasji?
Parashar Rishi.
Parashar Rishi. Okay. So in a way, the sons of Vichitra Vire were Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and Vidur, right? So they were the boon of Vedvyas. So were they actually the son of the one who died childless, or they were the son of Vedvyasji?
No, Mataji. No. If you see this Yudhishthir, Bhim, and Arjuna, they were the son of Kunti, and Kunti has.
No. I'm talking about Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and Vidur.
Okay, Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and Vidur. Yes, they were the son of Vedvyas only.
Vedvyas only.
You
Okay.
can say in that sense because actually it was see that time the power of such a great soul was so strong that just by giving fruits, by just seeing, they can do whatever they can. They can easily impregnate anyone.
Okay. So did Vedvyasji got all these powers through tapasya or a lot of
Mataji, if you read Bhagavatam, Vedvyas is also a kind of Ansha avatar of Krishna.
Okay. And second question is like I see many people reading Bhagavad Gita on daily basis, but their actions, few peoples I know, their actions are not that polite, and I sometimes so feel I'm unable to understand reading so much of the gyan on a daily basis, and the actions doesn't reflect those things.
Because that reading doesn't go into the heart.
Yeah,
It
you
just
just
it is just
in
a
the first
verbal reading.
Mahatmya, in the Mahatmya you told that the reading we vanish with all our sins if we read it with sincerity, right?
Yes.
But still, I guess reading at least you are giving your time. At least your conscience is allowing
Mataji, in this Kali Yuga, what we do, when we say reading with 100% sincerity means when we read this with sincerity, it will go into your heart. If we just read because you have to read, okay. I am making an habit that I will read 10 slokas or one adhyaya daily. That is my habit. But that habit is really yielding the result or not. If the result is not been yielded, it's of no use because I am doing for the sake of doing. Now, if you see in ISKCON, there is a rule that anyone who really wants to advance, they need to do at least 16 rounds of chanting. Now, the 16 rounds of chanting is a quantity, right? But this chanting, if it's not happening to the right way, you're not going to get the benefits. So the chanting has to be quality in nature also.
That I totally agree, but just a query in that, at least one is putting in effort to read it. That is actually a karma. That is actually a karma. Is it a good karma or is it?
Let's cut short the question. I got your point. See, since that particular person is reading, he is going to get benefit. Definitely, he is going to get benefit, but he is not going to get benefited in large because he is not properly implementing it. It's more for implementation. If you are not implementing the learnings of Bhagavad Gita just by reading, the text doesn't going to help you. But since you are reading, you will get some of the benefits, right? But not the entire true benefits of Bhagavad
Understood. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Edgar Braganza, please unmute.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, I have one question. That is that the Bhagavad Gita is an extract from the Mahabharata. Okay, and the Gita Sar, that is the Bhagavad Gita, entire Bhagavad Gita, was between Krishna and Arjuna, and it was seen through divine vision by Sanjaya, narrated to Dhritarashtra and Ved Vyasa. So my question is, Prabhuji, that the conversation between two people, that was between Sri Krishna and Arjuna, how can we take that the conversation between them, which is in middle of the war, into our lives, and is that conversation applicable to all of us in our lives? That is my question, bro.
Uh, Prabhu, to be very honest, this conversation between Krishna and Arjuna is sufficient to give a right direction to our life. It is very important to understand these conversations, because if you see, there are lots of questions which is going to be asked by Arjuna, and Krishna is going to answer all these questions. So we at times have to think that, let me be in the place of Arjuna, and Arjuna is also having this problem, and Krishna is giving solution to Arjuna. So if we implement that solution in our life, how we are going to get benefited? So we have all the practical implications. We can relate all this practicality into our daily lives. So when, that's why I'm saying, be with us till the last day. Then you will see that in this material world also, this spiritual learning of Bhagavad Gita implies. It has all the powers to change the entire thinking, working of our life. The way we are working today, if I ask you a very simple question, what is the purpose of your birth? Why you have taken the birth? You may or may not have the answer. But when you will know Bhagavad Gita, then you will be in a better position to answer this question. So it is very important, Prabhuji, very important, that the learnings or the discussion or the dialogues between Krishna and Arjuna is really beneficial for every one of us.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Puja Mataji, please unmute. Puja Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, very glad for the knowledge you're sharing. Very thankful for it. The flow of the class is very nice. I was just listening to the other participants ask questions, and some of them even I have had actually, and I did some research on it. So I would like to just quickly share. Somebody asked why Bhishma Drona fought for the Kauravas. That is because they were also bound by their duty to the person on the throne. Even though Dhritarashtra was just a regent, they still owed their loyalty to him. And Dhritarashtra wanted them to fight for the Kauravas. So even though unwilling, they did fight for them. That was one thing. Also, when you said that the scale were imbalanced, there is in the Shankaracharya commentary itself, I think it says Bhishma Drona Tata Jayat Ratajala Gandhara, that is Shakuni Nilotpala, Shalya Grahavati, Kripena Vahani, Karanena Velakula, Ashwathama Vikarna Ghora Makara, Duryodhana Vartini. So all these the Kauravas had on them. And then he says in just one line, Sotirnau Khalu Pandavaihi Rananadi, Kaivartakaha Keshavaha. And still against all the odds, the Pandavas won because they had Krishna with them. The only balancing factor for the Pandavas. When you said they had only Krishna, I just remembered this one. Also, somebody said Karna being.
Mataji, you have any questions? Please ask the questions, because we are running out of time, Mataji.
No, sir. I just thought I had the same question, so I thought maybe this would answer some.
That's if you see, this is the USP of our ISKCON program, that after the session we have one-to-one questions, because if you see, normally questions are not always encouraged, but we do this.
But this is what opens the horizon, sir. Seriously,
Yes,
I am
yes,
very
absolutely,
grateful for this.
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm so sorry that I took the time. I'm sorry.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Sandeep Prabhuji, please ask your question. Sandeep Prabhuji, yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
I always have this doubt, why don't we remember like what good or what bad we have done in the previous janmas? The reason being, if good people, if they are continuing to be good, that's fine. They knew, the residue from previous janma is there. But if bad people are doing like, if they're not honest or they're not following the dharma, but still they are disturbing the good people in the current janma. So
Prabhuji, you have to wait for some more chapters to come to get this question answers.
okay.
As we progress in the coming chapters, your all doubts of some similar nature will easily get solved, because if you just going through the chapters only.
Sure, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Mataji, do you have any more questions, or we are good to close?
No more raised hands. And I think in the chat box also, most of the questions you have answered, Prabhuji.
Okay, Mataji. Then we will close the chapter today. Tomorrow is very important chapter wherein Krishna will be answering the doubts of Arjuna and some important lessons for us also.
Yes. Prabhuji, the PPT which you showed, that won't be shared, no, Prabhuji?
If you want, I can share it, Mataji.
Acha, because some devotees were asking.
Yeah. Mataji, what I have done basically is, since you see the English deck is different. So what I have done, I was earlier taking class of Hindi. So I have changed the slides because I don't want to have two different slides. So I just make the changes. It was with Hindi. I just added English into it, so that I can make use whenever I will take Hindi class, or whenever I can take English. It will be the
English classes
same
also.
class.
Yes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, PDF we are sharing. Otherwise also.
Yeah. You can share that also if you want. I can share this also to you. No issue.
Okay. Thank you.
वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णव नमो नमः. Till then, till tomorrow, Hare Krishna, Radhe Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.